All right, everybody, we're coming back from the break. It's called the Business to Business Network Show. My name is Rex Perry. I'm the host and creator of the show. We talk business, politics, and economics because the politics and the economics and the business all tie together. And sometimes things happen in our community. We have a tendency to focus a lot on the national politics, but in reality, it's the city that we really need to focus on. So that brings us to our guest, Barry. Give us your last name and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Rex. Barry Graham, Scottsdale City Councilman. Been a councilman elected in 2022 in the third year of my first term.
Give us a little bit of your background. First, where do you come from?
Well, I grew up in Scottsdale, so I'm from Arizona, and I'm actually the only elected CPA in the state of Arizona, to my knowledge. Not a single elected CPA in the state legislature. I'm not aware of one on any other city council or any other higher office. I would argue we need more of those.
Yes,
because,
I would too.
Because you can read financial statements. You can think about operational efficiency. You can think about, from the front and the back end and the front end as far as businesses and what they care about. And so I'm proud to offer that skill set to my residents, to my constituents.
Yeah, you know how to look at a spreadsheet and say, this is going in the wrong direction right here.
It really comes down to that. I mean, reading budgets, analyzing budget to actual.
Dollars, numbers, money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what government is about, services and efficiency.
You're absolutely right.
You've got an interesting story. Tell us a little bit about, is it pronounced Axion?
So the company is called Axon.
Axon.
And, if I can just back up a little bit, Scottsdale is a very business-friendly community.
Yes, very.
We, when you look at national rankings, we're always up there as far as best place to start a business. We have an amazing labor supply. We have amazing opportunity for capital formation, raising money. People come here, they bring their businesses here. A lot of times they vacation to Scottsdale and they say, hey,
I like it.
Our school system is exceptional. We have an exceptional school system for families to come here and raise their kids. So, all of our taxes are very low. We just lowered our sales tax.
Which is amazing.
Correct.
Usually it goes the other direction.
It's hard to get it down. And ours went down. So our sales tax is down. Our tax burden is lower on residents. And so we are a business-friendly community. And there is a company, I think it's phone right there. There you go. There is a company, a really big homegrown company called Axon, and they made the news a lot because they did a sort of what people would call an end around in the state legislature because they bought state trust land, 74 acres of state trust land in the Scottsdale Air Park in 2020, and they kind of threatened, low key to leave, and so the city turned around, bent over backwards, and rezone that land for them to put their international headquarters, 74 acres of state trust land they purchased from the state in the Scottsdale Air Park at Hayden and the 101. And then they came back after years later, and they wanted to add 2,500 apartments to it, a very dense apartment complex plus a hotel. It would have been the largest, it is the largest apartment entitlement in Arizona history. And so they passed it in a lame duck council. 5 members of the council voted for it. It was a 5-2 vote. I voted against it along with Councilwoman Littlefield. That was after the election, and 4 of the people of the 5 that voted for it had been not returned to office. So 4 out of 5 that gave it the green light would never face voter accountability again. And so the next month, a voter petition was started, a referendum was started, and they collected a record number of signatures, 27,000 signatures, to put it on the ballot to say, okay, you got this permission from the city council, but let's give the voters, residents, a final say on that, veto power. And so management of Axon was concerned about that, so they took their resources to the state legislature, and they did there were a lot of machinations and a lot of maneuvering at the state legislature. They tried one idea, then another, and they eventually settled on an idea to craft legislation that would basically, if you had 5 or 7, 8, 9, if you met these qualifications, like you're an international company, the population of the city is below this, population of the city is above this, and these 10 qualifications, and what do you know? It only helped one company in the entire state. So there's there's an argument about whether that's constitutional from a special legislation standpoint. And there's also a contracts law as Constitution, because the Constitution says you can't force, one or two parties to enter a contract. And this relates to the development agreement that was, that would have to be agreed on. And so Axon, great company. They sell a great product. But the voters have had their say, and they said, we want to vote on this. And so they passed this legislation. Governor Hobbs signed the legislation in April of 2024. Of 2025 on their campus, which kind of lends itself to the fact that this was narrowly tailored just for them. And so there's a lawsuit to challenge it, to say, hey, this is not a constitutional legislation. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the city council to challenge it. We had 3 votes, but not 4. But a third party is challenging it. And, their executives have poured over $1 million into a political action committee called Arizonans for a Better Future, and they're running attack ads like crazy on myself, and it really seems like anybody that
opposes them,
dares stand in their way or question them. So
let me reiterate and break this down for the audience just a little bit more detail. First of all, this is state land, Arizona state land.
It was purchased from the state. It was deed restricted state trust land. And so the state, they have their reasons, but they'll sell it off as they go for one reason or another.
And this is right by the air park?
Exactly, yes. It's the Scottsdale Air Park.
So they buy this from the state trust.
Correct.
So they get it a special, and it's zoned.
They buy it at a discount.
So
it was deed restricted, so you couldn't put housing on it.
Yeah. So, and that's why they got the discount.
Exactly.
And then so they get a smoking deal on the land. Right by the air park, which is very valuable. And then it's almost like this insider trading. It's like this gambling thing with the NBA. It's like cryptocurrency people buying it from the president's son. I mean, everybody needs to understand, we're the stooges. We're the ones that are getting fleeced. If we don't stand up and say, wait a minute. Now, this is the Taser company. Make sure everybody understands. This is the guys that created and invented the Taser, which saves lives. I mean, it's non-lethal. It's good stuff. But why is it that the rich people are able to come in and buy Arizona state land that's deed restricted and then very quietly try to change it around and basically
go back on it?
And now the value of the property and what they're trying to do is completely changed, and they're not paying for it, basically.
Correct.
So that's what we're trying to fight. We're trying to let the audience know, the voters of Scottsdale know that they're getting taken, because now the taxes are different. The fees that they paid, the income to the city to pay for roads, bridges, schools, police, all of that, these guys got the discount and didn't have to pay that because they knew how to work the system.
Well, that's exactly right. They work the system. The taxes you're talking about are what would go into the state trust.
Right.
So that would be a state level. But
it's taxes either way. It's our money.
For sure. Absolutely. No doubt, no dispute there. But then when you add a very dense, extremely dense, massive apartment complex in an area that's an airfield, it's in almost the flight path.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be a commercial center the way we planned it. We have to pay for upgraded utilities.
Yeah.
And these
the taxpayers
have to pay for upgraded utilities. The depreciation of our assets, our roads, all of our infrastructure
in other words,
increases.
The crumbling, they're using it. The increased traffic causes problems, which we pay. The taxpayers pay for.
And those you bring in that much density, and they demand services as well, police services, and you name it. So calls for service. So this is something that we as a city and as far as thinking about local control, you want to be able to plan your city.
Yeah.
And so when they went to the legislature to bypass the state, not only the city's zone, not only the city's or election, but the referendum process, but that's a constitutional issue.
Yeah.
Because that's actually saying, because referendum is enshrined in the Constitution. Yeah. And so to try to go around that in the legislature, I think is very frustrating for many.
And again, it's the pay-to-play people that have the attorneys, that have the deep pockets, and we, the customers, we, the taxpayers, we, the people, foot the bill. We get stiffed.
Mm-hmm.
We're the ones that were playing at the poker table without the special contact lenses to be able to see who's got what cards. We're the stooges.
You really want, when it comes to business and good business climate, you really want fairness.
That's it.
Everybody wants to, we set the rules, and everybody plays by the rules, and then you do your best. And when you get into special treatment, it's very disruptive.
It makes it so hard because now we can't. This is where we lose the trust when we see stuff like this. But unfortunately, sometimes this message doesn't get out to the public, especially to the voters of Scottsdale.
Right.
Because they're the ones that are voting for the city council and the mayor. And sometimes, this happened just a few years ago, Arizona Public Service, the company that we pay our utilities to, financed to get people that they paid for their financing to get them elected, were now on the Corporation Commission.
Oh, you're saying that they were funding the candidates that would regulate
to get them elected. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they had like 3 or 4 of their people. It's like the foxes in charge of the hen house.
Yeah, you definitely want to get away from that. That's a conflict of interest.
And the problem is, most people are focusing on national politics, and all of this stuff on the city and the state level just fly on by.
And it's incredible because the local stuff, the decisions we make at City Hall, how they affect, everything from, the quality of your roads to the way your city is planned, the density, city services, the police and fire and firefighters and first responders that keep you safe. These are crucial for your quality of life and for your day-to-day life. You think about open spaces, you think about maintenance of parks, you think about your libraries, you think about just the safety of your community.
Yeah.
And so these decisions really, really hit home.
Now we're going to switch to my subject, and I warned you about this. I'm a swimming pool builder. By the way, I love Scottsdale. I love the website. It's become a little bit difficult to work with when you're trying to get a building permit now, because the communication, ever since COVID, prior to COVID, I could walk in, sit across the desk, lay out my little swimming pool. These are standard plan, cookie cutter, rectangular, built the same thing over and over and over, engineered, everything. It's the same old. And I could sit there and they would review it, and they would make sure that I had everything, and then they would take it in, and within a few days they were able to run it through, and I could go back, and within a few weeks I got a building permit. Okay, so now the most recent one I submitted on the 3rd of September, the 3rd of September. I just now got an email this morning saying we finally are in the approval process, finally.
So that's about, 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah. For a little swimming pool permit. And you would think that they could triage. They could say, okay, this is a simple, this is complex. And by being able to talk to somebody instead of have to submit it through the website, the portal, all communication is via email. You can't ever really get anybody to talk to them on the phone. They will. You got to set up an appointment, stuff like that, which is okay. My point is efficiency in government, and just kind of a little bit of a review of the process. And if it's a very simple, over-the-counter, something that we can review, take in, get it approved. So you're my guy. I just mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
I love Scottsdale. I really do.
Would you like me to go march on City Hall?
No. I just want to share that with you because, by the way, this is how it works. You're an elected official.
Right.
We get a chance to talk to each other, and the people out there, the voters, need to know that. If people want to contribute, if people want to participate, how do they reach you?
My website is bsgrahamresidencefirst.com. I'm on social media, Nextdoor, Facebook, X. And do I have time to talk about the pool?
Oh, next time. We appreciate you so much. Give it the website again.
bsgrahamresidencefirst.com, Scottsdale City Council, and look for me in 2026. My term is for re-election.
We got to help you. Thank you so much. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.